Hi, my name is Bernadette. I am 20 years old. I recently just went to the Exodus and I would like to share a little bit about my testimony. When I was in middle school, I was constantly made fun of. I was made fun of on social media, I was made fun of in person, and I was always bullied. I was bullied for being ugly. I was always called mean names, and I always constantly felt like I wasn't worth it. Moving on to high school, I was hoping that things would be different, but things were exactly the same. I was still name called, I was still bullied, I was always constantly feeling lonely, and I decided just to get a group of friends and just do the high school life to see if things would get better. I would go to parties, I would meet new people, but I always constantly felt empty, and I knew that I was lying to myself, being someone that I wasn't. In high school, unfortunately, my sister was diagnosed with a tumor that ended up to be cancerous, and she had to go through surgery. My sister went to UCF in Orlando, so I was down here and I wasn't able to attend most of her operations. And I was really sad about it because me and my sister are extremely close. But I had to also swallow that and let it go and be strong. Now she is better. The tumor's out. She's doing great, thank God. And I continue to move forward in my life and continue to put things behind me and try to forget my past. Then, next came my dad. My dad, when we got back from a wonderful trip from Peru, he was diagnosed with a brain tumor. They said he needed to take it out or else he could potentially die. So he went ahead and went forth with the surgery. One of the procedures before the surgery, he ended up having a stroke. And from that stroke, it was very hard on our family. To see my dad go from walking Machu Picchu and then being in a wheelchair that I had to push, it was very hard. I remember the times that I didn't want to go visit him in the hospital because I didn't feel like I was strong enough. And I began to break down mentally, and the thoughts of not being worth it again came in rushing again. And I just remembered all the names that I was called, and it hit me harder than ever. During the time, I was also mad at my dad, and I was mad at God, because I was constantly asking, why did I have to go through this? I mean, I've been through so many things when I was younger, and now I just feel like my world is getting worse and worse by the minute. And I had so much hate for the world, and I remember always saying, I hate people, I hate my life, I hate what I'm going through, and I just overflowed. My bottle just spilled over. And I remember one day, like it was nothing, November 20th, I woke up at 3 a.m. with a panic attack. And panic attacks are pretty scary, and they're pretty serious. I remember thinking I was gonna die. I had this huge wave of just tears, and I couldn't breathe. I felt lost. My mom came rushing in to try to help me, but she didn't know how to, and then I just became to feel even more alone. I couldn't get myself together, I couldn't get myself up, and I fell into deep depression. I didn't want to get up to shower, I didn't want to get up to eat, my friends would call me, I would be too scared to go out. I just couldn't do it anymore. And I remember thinking and praying to God, saying, God, if you're real, like, pull me out of this, it's too hard for me. And I was just constantly crying every day and praying to God, and my mom would tell me to pray, and she would tell me, you need to have faith. But I remember that I didn't have faith. I just wanted it to happen, like 1, 2, 3, but it was very hard for me. And in this deep depression, I did experience many suicidal thoughts, but it wasn't my first time experiencing them. I experienced them in middle school too when I was being bullied, but I ended up swallowing those, but now I just couldn't. I was really just overflowing, and I didn't know what to do with myself. During the time, I did have my leader and my best friend. Her name is Kiara. She was able to pray for me, bring me to church, and tell me that I needed to change my life and to change the way that I saw God. And I needed to get that strength for myself. So before Exodus, a week before, I was excited, I was ready, I wanted change. I was now being able to do regular routines. I was able to get out the house. I wasn't scared anymore. But I still had that anxiety in the back of my mind saying, you're not gonna be able to do this, you're not gonna change, you're just gonna have to kill yourself if you wanna change. And it was hard, but I remember the day of Exodus, when I was getting ready to come, I was nervous, but I was excited because God placed it in my heart that He was gonna do a change, and I had to hold on to that and have faith for it. I remember God speaking to me and saying that I needed to forgive. I needed to let go of my past, I needed to move forward, and He actually showed me my worth. He showed me who I was supposed to be, and who I was to become. I remember just being filled up with so much peace and so much joy in my heart that I've never felt in my life. I mean, going from the girl that was just in a big crowd but feeling alone, I finally felt like people could see me for who I was and who I am. And I remember that I had one thought in my head that was like, this isn't real. This is gonna work out. I can't do this. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna have a suicidal thought again, or I'm gonna be depressed again, or I'm gonna have an anxiety attack again. But the moment that I stepped out of Exodus, it disappeared. And even if I wanted to think about it, there was nothing to think about. It was completely gone. And the Holy Spirit also touched me and gave me a peace and filled me up. And I was also told that I would never be alone again, and I would never experience these things ever again because I was strong. I walked out of my Exodus stronger than ever. And I can say it was the best weekend of my life because I met a God that was there for me through it all. I mean, when I thought I was alone, he was there holding my hand. And I can tell you guys that I'm completely changed and I'm motivated for the things that he's going to do in my life because I know I have a bigger purpose than what I saw in the past. And the past is definitely behind me because I'm new. I'm a new person. And I'm Bernadette, who I'm supposed to be. Thank you.